So what do you think of going abroad? Do you wanna go do you wanna go abroad? Well, I mean that's interesting because when I was a kid, I used to wanna go to a lot of places, right? That seems to be the dream of like everybody. That specific dream that everyone used to share when they were a kid is to travel all all around the world. But that's the tragic thing is that that dream dies when you get to a certain age because you realize that it is not possible to go to other places. I'm not saying it is not entirely possible, but it requires money, time, all this stuff. So a lot of people they just when they get to a certain age, they're like, oh, it's just a silly dream. I'm not gonna do it. And it seems to be the case for me right now. Is I don't wanna go to any place. I don't wanna go abroad. Right? It's not even that. It's not even the money. It's not even that I cannot afford to go abroad. It's like now I enjoy more living where I'm living right now than having to go abroad and stay there or live there. To me, the idea of living in my own country seems much more appealing than living elsewhere. Now, this is my personal preference. I'm not saying that people shouldn't go abroad. You know, going abroad has a lot of upsides. One is so why do people go abroad? We gotta think about it. Well, one is for which now one is so the main reason which seems to be the case is it is either because they wanna go study abroad or they wanna go work abroad. It's either one. So if you wanna go study abroad, that is great because going and studying abroad can give you higher education which you cannot acquire or attain in your own country. When you go study in a higher education, you'll get higher education, and so that's education. And another reason people tend to go abroad is to make money, to work, because working abroad usually gives you a lot of money. It is good money that you make. So a lot of people go work abroad, and then when they make enough money, they come back to their own country. So that too seems to be the biggest motivations behind why people go abroad. One is to study, and another one is to work to make money. But the thing is, I don't need to do any of these. So that's also so these two others not having to do these two also seems to contribute to me not wanting to go abroad. Because one, I don't want to have higher education, right? I'm not I have I wouldn't say zero interest, but I have slight interest in education, right? I'm not a huge fan on education. I'm not completely against the idea, but to me, it doesn't seem to benefit me. Okay. Also, working abroad, yeah, I kind of like the idea that you can make a lot of money working abroad, but I imagine it would be kind of difficult to do it because you are in a completely different country. You are surrounded by completely different people that don't speak your language. Yeah. Now, me not wanting to do it me not now. The reason I don't want to go work abroad isn't because I find it difficult. Yeah, it is generally a difficult thing to do, but it just I would rather make money in my own country than working abroad. Now I'm not saying that it is impossible me going abroad and working, right? Because in life anything could happen. So, but in this moment as we're speaking, I have no intention of going abroad, right? Regardless of education or money. So that's what I think of going abroad. I know it is a very long answer. If I have to summarize it, I don't want to go abroad for either education purpose or job opportunities. So what about living abroad? Like put education and working aside. What about just purely living abroad? Or even when it comes to it, I wouldn't I wouldn't want to do that. You know, I question myself why I don't like living abroad. It's like I just like living in my own country, specifically in where I live. Like I just don't want to leave the place. I feel like it is such a great environment to be in. I know I shouldn't be very attached to things, right? But I feel like I'm very attached to the place that I'm living right now. My house. I shouldn't say my house is because I don't own it. You know, my parents, my grandma's house, and then the. It's. I feel like it. It is such a great place, and so that's why I don't want to leave the house, and then I don't want to go live abroad. I know it might sound like a stupid reason, because what I've been saying so far has been implying that I don't want to go abroad because I love staying home. It seems to be the outcome. It seems to be the case, which is a very weak reason. I know it's not a strong reason, but it seems to be the case, so I cannot complain. So yeah, if I have to pinpoint the reason why I don't want to go abroad is that I love staying home. Opportunities. So have you ever gone bowling? No, I have not. I think it would be fun to do it, to experience it. You know, I've only seen it in movies and TV shows. You know, people are doing that, but I've never seen it in real life. You know, even if I were to do it, I would be terrible. I would be terrible at it. It would be like I pick up the ball and then it would be terrible. I can already imagine it. I can already imagine it. It would be terrible. But regardless, I want to do it. So have you gone hiking? No, I've never gone hiking. I have my nephew. He's really into it. One time he invited me to go along with them, but I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not going." The reason I denied it was because it wasn't free. It wasn't free because the place that he goes hiking, he has to like he has to hire this like tourist. This guy owns the place. So if you wanna go hike, if you wanna go hiking to his place, you gotta give him money, and then he cook he makes food for you. So anyway, so what I was trying to say was that the place he goes hiking, somebody owns the place, so he has to give this guy money. The guy owns the place, and then the guy's also like cooks food for him. Like if you go hiking to his place, you gotta give him money, and he when you get there, he cooks food for you, and you can enjoy the place, blah blah blah. So to me, it it seems like a, I don't know. I was like, like I'm not wasting my money. To me, it's the idea of it seems like a waste of money. When I go hiking, I don't want to waste. I don't want to spend my money. I'm not stingy, right? But I just also it is a bit expensive. Like when you go hiking for a day, it it costs it costs a lot, at least to my standard, right? To my standard, it is a lot of money that you have to pay the guy to go to his place, to go hiking to his place. So I was like, no, I'm not paying this guy my money. I would rather take a walk at the beach than going to his place, giving him money so that you can hike around his place. No, I'm not doing that. I would rather take a walk at the beach. So I'm good. So I denied his offer, and he wasn't happy about it. My nephew, he was like, bro, you should do it. Why don't you do it? I was like, that's too much money. I'm not giving them them that much amount of money to this guy. So no, with that, I've never gone hiking. The problem is you don't have one of those national parks here, right? I believe when you go to a you know, national park or national, like one of those places, I think you don't have to pay. I could be wrong. I believe you don't have to pay, but you can go in and you can go hiking, and so I don't want to spend money to go hiking. It's to me it doesn't seem like a good idea. Why would I spend my money to go hiking? Except buying my own food, right? And buying all the stuff that I need along the hike. Except for that, I'm not paying money to somebody. Anyway. So, describe. Okay, describe your nephew. What does he look like? How old is he? What does he do? Oh, that's fun. That's funny. The thing is, I don't know how old he is, but I know that he's he's beyond 18 years old, right? He might be 19 by now. Yeah, he is 19 now. So he's 19 years old, and he's an only child, right? He has both of his parents. He has his mom. He has his dad. So he's an only child. And then regarding what he does, uh, he doesn't have a job currently, but I believe he is taking cooking classes. So the thing is, currently he's not, he's not home. He's far away in another place, which is very far from where I am right now. Like, you gotta take a flight to get there. That's how far it is. So over there, he is taking. So over there, he's taking cooking classes. So yeah, that's pretty much the description of who he is. Do you like him? I mean, yes, I do like him. He's he is somebody that you like to hang out with. He's fun. He's somebody to be fun. He and I, we hang out. We used to hang out a lot. We used to go to a lot of places, and but now it is different. Now it doesn't imply that we don't get along. Not at all. We do. But we don't hang out anymore because when you get to a certain age, you gotta leave fun behind, and you gotta go make money. You gotta start getting into relationships, and that's what he's doing right now. Is I think no, I think he's definitely got a girlfriend now, and he's also trying to do business, and so now we have less time to hang out with one another, which is kind of sad. But what can you do? That's life. At one point, you gotta say hello. I mean, you gotta say bye to your friends. You gotta be like, sorry guys, I don't have much time to hang out with you guys. I also have to live my own life, make my own money, find my own boyfriend, girlfriend. So as you grow older, you have less and less time to hang out with your friends. But that's life. With that said, we do like each other, and hopefully at one point he and I, we could hang out again. So do you like hanging out? I do like hanging out, but only with people that I'm very close to, right? I wouldn't want to hang out with a complete stranger, because to me, the idea of it seems awkward, like being around somebody you don't know. And then now some people are comfortable with it, but I'm not. So when I go hang out with somebody, I'm very close to him, right? So my nephew and I, if we go back to it, he and I were very close, so I feel comfortable hanging out with him, right? We talk a lot and we have fun, so that's that's great that I hang out with somebody that is very close to me. But I wouldn't wanna hang out with somebody that isn't close to me, that is a complete stranger. Now I'll tell you this, I'm not completely against the idea, right? I'm not like, oh, I will never hang out with somebody who is not my friend, who I'm not close to. No, it's not the idea. I'm open to the idea. But in general, I only want to hang out with people that are very close to me, like my sister, my parents, my nephew. But again, I'm not against the idea of hanging out with strangers, right? I'm open to the idea. It's just not something that I would do normally. It's not something that I would do. It's something that it's just not something that I would do normally. Okay. So so how do you personally deal with people that are selfish? So how do you deal with it? When I say this, you wouldn't believe it. Because I feel like in my lifetime, almost I would say everybody I've come across so far has been nice to me. They've been nothing but nice to me. I have yet to come across somebody who is arrogant, who is selfish, blah blah, right? So it's kind of interesting. You know what? I know the reason why I haven't yet come across somebody who is arrogant, and it is because I don't talk to a lot of people, right? I only talk to people that I'm very close to, and they are nice to me. So I believe it has something to do with the fact that I don't go out a lot, so I don't get enough exposure to people, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people that are arrogant, that are selfish. It's just I haven't done a lot of talking. If I do a lot of talking, I'm 100% sure that I will come across people that are arrogant. Okay, so what would I do if I come across so the question is, what would I do if I come across somebody who is arrogant? How would I deal with it? Well, what I would personally do is, I would look at the situation and I would be like, how should I deal with this person? They're arrogant. I think I'm gonna go with the flow, which is like I'm gonna look at their situation and I'm gonna try my best not to offend them, right? Not to get on their bad side, right? I'll try my best to talk to him nicely, to treat him nicely. Because I don't wanna piss them off, right? But it's not like I'm not kissing their ass, not at all. If I can't tolerate their behavior, I will be very honest and be like, I don't like you, I don't wanna talk to you, so bye. But if they are not very rude, if they are not very arrogant, right? Then I would try my best to deal with it as nicely as possible. But if they go beyond, if they go beyond that, like if they become very, very, very arrogant, if they become very, very, very selfish, in that scenario, I wouldn't stand it. I would be very honest and be like, you are very arrogant, I don't want to talk to you, so bye. But as long as their selfishness is limited, their arrogance is limited, as long as it is the case, I'll be okay to deal with it. but if they go very extreme, that would be just saying goodbye. Because why would you deal with somebody who is very arrogant? I know in some situations you have to do that because you have no choice, right? Like for example, your boss, he's arrogant. But you cannot be like, fuck you, my boss, I'm quitting my job. You can be like that because if you quit the job, you have no money. Unless there is a job outside waiting for you, right? In that case, you could tell your boss, you are fucking arrogant. I'm fucking quitting this job. I'm taking on another job. But when you don't have any other job to do, you have no choice but to tolerate your boss. He might be very arrogant to you, but you can do nothing about it. I mean, you can choose, you can make a choice to either stand up to him or just stay silent. It depends on you sometimes. You gotta do what benefits you the most. Is standing up to your boss and getting fired, is it beneficial to you, or staying silent and just being quiet and keeping your job, is it more beneficial to you? You gotta think about that. Depending on your situation, you could choose either of them. You stand up to win and get fired, or you be silent and keep the job. If you have another job waiting outside for you, you could stand up to win and say to him like, fuck you, bro, I'm fucking quitting this job. But if you have no job waiting for you outside, you gotta do this, which is stay silent and keep the job. So yeah, it is very difficult. Sometimes you have no choice but to deal with arrogant people, right? Because dealing with them benefits you, right? Maybe in terms of finance, in terms of opportunity. So what you have to do is you have no choice but to be nice to him, blah blah. So at the end of the day, it depends on the situation, you know. So when do you go to sleep? I go to sleep at 12 a.m. almost exactly every night. I go to sleep at 12 a.m. and then I wake up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. So I try to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep every day. Do you think sleep is important? Oh man. To me, sleep is like one of the most important things in my life. I remember at one point sleep was a problem for me because I wasn't getting enough sleep, because I was going to bed at weird times. Like I remember at one point I was going to bed at 6 a.m. literally 6 a.m. and I would go I would go to bed at 6 a.m. and then I would wake up at 2 p.m. It's like I was sleeping at the wrong time. And then I would be all awake the entire night, and that was a huge problem. Even though technically I'm getting enough sleep, but I wasn't going to bed at the right time. It was giving me a lot of trouble. it was it, it was like I couldn't eat properly. Like I I was becoming like, I don't know, I was becoming very tired, and it was a terrible feeling. So I decided to, you know, get back to my normal sleep schedule, which is going to bed at the same at the right time. Which so so yeah, I believe sleep is a very important thing that you have to do. I always say, don't sacrifice your sleep for anything. Don't do that. Nothing is worth sacrificing your sleep, right? That's why I'm not willing to sacrifice my sleep for anything. Right? So do you have any good restaurants in your neighborhood? Mm, the thing is, I don't go out to restaurants, so I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, there is one which a lot of people talk about, that they serve good food. I mean, I've been there a few times, but I'm not sure if they do serve good food. The restaurant is the name of the restaurant is Golden Rose, right? It is Golden Rose, and it's not in my neighborhood. To get there, you have to take it takes a few minutes. Okay, so yeah, most people say that they have great food, but again, I have been there a few times, but great I'm not a great judge when it comes to food, right? I eat everything that to me delicious, right? So my kind of delicious might not be the kind of delicious that you experience. But yeah, again, a lot of people say that they have great food. So that is west that is one restaurant that I guess I could that that is that is one restaurant I would recommend to go. So have you seen Sleeping Beauty, the animated one? No, I haven't. You know what? You talk about it now. You know what? I guess I'm going to see it probably one of these days, maybe next week. Yeah, seems like I mean, I know the story. At least the basic story is about a princess. I believe she is cursed, right? She is she is eternally asleep, and in order to break the curse, she has to receive a kiss from somebody, and then the prince, he comes over and he kisses the princess, and then boo, happy story. At least that's how I understand that. So what kind of women do you like? Like, what's your favorite type? Uh, why? I mean, in terms of appearance, yeah, in terms of appearance. When it comes to appearance in a girl, I think I prefer someone who is who is not taller than me, because I feel like when a girl is taller than you, it looks awkward, right? When you are next to her and she is taller than you, it's like I don't like that, right? So she has to be as tall as me, or she has to be shorter than me, either one. So that's height. And second is she has to have a great body, right? She has to be in a fit shape. She doesn't she has to have a great body. I don't want her to be obese, or I don't want her to be too skinny. Because when a girl is in is because when a girl is in a great shape, that shows how much she cares about her body, right? That is a good sign that shows that she cares about her physical well-being. So that's that is she. Two is she has to have a great body, I guess. And three is maybe pretty face. All right, she has to be pretty. Okay, so three things. One, she has to be as tall as me or shorter than me. Two is she has to have a great body, and three is she has to have a nice face. So three things I look for in a girl when it comes to physical appearance. So have you ever dated anybody? No. Uh, no. um. No. No. I'll admit that I've never dated anybody. Why? Why is the reason? Well, I don't know it myself. I always give stupid excuses like, oh, I don't have time to go out and date a girl. I'm not giving my time to a girl. Why would I do that? That seems to be one stupid reason that I always give. But if I think about it, it doesn't make sense. So why? So if I have to be serious, why don't I date a girl? Like, why don't I get into dating? You know what? I get it now. Because I have no courage to ask a girl out. That is the honest truth. That is the honest truth. I have no courage to ask a girl out. I've never said that to anybody, but I'm saying this right here, right now. That is the real reason why I don't date a girl, is that I have no courage to ask her out on a date. So, but hopefully I have the courage to do it, right? Because I have to have the courage. Anyway, with that said, I'm fine with being single. You know, I told you that the reason I don't date was because I have no time for a girl, right? I also told you that it was a stupid reason, but it might be a bit true. It, the thing is, I'm kind of selfish, so I want all the time for myself. That combined with me not having the courage to ask a girl out. So that seems to be the two reasons, right? Not wanting to give my time to somebody, and not having the courage to ask a girl out. Both combined. That's why I don't get into dating. Which both of which both of them are very stupid reasons, I know, but it is the truth. Truth, 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 truth. How many minutes are we in? 41 minutes. Oh my god, this is insane. 41. Okay, let's do one more question, and then so why don't you use social media? I have a couple of reasons why I don't use it. One is I find it to be time consuming, because it's like, imagine you invest money into a business, hoping that in return you make profit, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't put your money into a business that doesn't give you profit back. So to me, in my case, it is the same. I'm not investing my time into social media because it doesn't give me any benefit. It doesn't give me any profit back in return. So to me, it's not sustainable. Why would you do something when it doesn't benefit you? Like, you put all these minutes, hours, and days into social media. What do you get back in return? It is very hard to pinpoint a single reason or single benefit you get from it, right? People, I know, you could sit there and argue that, oh, but social media allows me to talk to my friends. I can read news. With social media, I can order stuff online. Blah blah blah. Well, that is true. I'm not saying that it is not, but that's just a minority of benefits. Social media has more downsides than upsides. So, and two is, information in articles like you talked about. The thing is, all these articles and information you see online, a lot of the time, is either misinformation or straight up useless information. Misinformation because sometimes you see an article and you think it is true, but when you go do the research, it's not true. It turns out to be false, and then you have useless information about, for example, it might be an article about some TikToker getting arrested for sexual assault, or it could be about Leonardo DiCaprio only dating women that are below the age of 24. So it is useless because reading these articles doesn't contribute any value to your life. Your life doesn't change because you don't read them, right? Reading, your life wouldn't change if you don't read them. Your life will stay with the same. So you see a lot of that on social media: misinformation, useless information. So to me, at the end, it comes down to social media having a lot of downsize than upsize. So to me, it gives me more harm than. To me, social media does more harm than good. So why would I do something that doesn't give me any value? So that's why I don't use social media. If it was benefiting me somehow, I would use it totally. If it gives me money, if it gives me any value to my life, I would totally do that. I'll be very happy to use social media. But in reality, it doesn't give you any benefit. You just spend all these minutes and hours and days, and then you just end up like looking at other people online, getting jealous. You get nothing done, and you wonder why you don't have time to do things because you're wasting all the time on social media. So why would you have time? To some people, it's like a mystery. They're like, why don't I have time? Because you're wasting all your time on social media, bro. And you're wondering, why don't I have time? I wake up every day, I get on my phone, but why don't I have time to do things in real life? Because it is obvious. People sit here and argue that how social media benefits them. But all they talk about it, a few things surrounding the fact that you can call your friends online, you can message them, and then that's it. That's really a few benefits that you can pinpoint. Here is the fact that I can call my friends. Here's the fact that I can comment on their pictures, and that was it. There's like only 2 or 3 reasons. But I'm not complaining, anybody can make their own decision. If you choose to be on social media, I'm fine with them. I'm not telling you not to go on it. I'm not telling you to be like, oh, don't use social media. If you use it, I'm gonna hate you. No, I'm not doing that. Right? At the end of the day, it's up to you. You could be on it or you choose not to be on it. If it's benefiting you, do it. If it doesn't benefit you like it does to me, then don't do it. Just quit it. So yeah. So these are all the reasons and excuses regarding why I'm not on social media. And with that, that's all for this video. And I'll see you guys again. And before I go, let me say a few words, and that is that signing off from this world, and bye.